Hey there, all you beautiful Broadway babies! Welcome back to Broadway by Ghostlight. I'm Mark Bonanni, and this is episode 65 of Broadway Jeopardy. Holy moly! Hit that subscribe button if you're a musical theater fan so you won't miss an episode. I want to thank you all for allowing me to have the last few weeks be short games while I was off visiting family. I'll talk more about all of that at the end of the game, because I've got 26 clues ready to test your musical-loving minds, so let's dive right into this week's game. This is Broadway Jeopardy! Looking at the categories for this week, we start off as always with last week's final Jeopardy category, which is school days. Today is the first day back at school for the kids here in New York, so this whole game will have a back to school theme to it. After that, it's At the Dance, looking at some school dances that occur in shows. Then we have Math Class. Here we're looking at some math or math-themed instances in musicals. Then it's Foreign Language, looking at some foreign phrases that pop up in shows. And last but not least, we have Alma Maters. Here, I'll only give you the name of a school featured in a show, and you name the musical it's from. And we end with the final Jeopardy round, so keep track of your scores if you want, so you can wager some or all of your imaginary earnings on that final clue. We start off, of course, with the $200 round, or the overture round as we call it here, but be warned, as the clue amounts increase, so does the difficulty level. Kicking things off in the school days category, your first $200 clue is: this beloved made-for-TV musical film trilogy for the Disney Channel starred Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens. What is High School Musical? There was a stage adaptation of the first film, which toured the US in 2007. I have actually only seen the second High School Musical film. I absolutely detest seeing things out of order, which is exactly why my good friend Brandon over at Wait in the Wings forced me to watch the second one first, while absolutely sloshed for a series he did where guests have a few too many, watch a film they've never seen before, and then drunkenly explain the plot. It's a fun, very chaotic video. I remember most of filming it, if you want to check that out. And Troy Bolton was like, you have to hire 30 other people if you want me to come work at your little country club, because I'm Troy Bolton and I play basketball and golf, but also sing and dance. He's a complicated man, Troy Bolton. Moving on to the At the Dance category, your next $200 clue is: Tony and Maria meet at the dance at the gym in this classic musical. What is West Side Story? The entire dance at the gym sequence is one of the classic dance and ballet meet musical theater storytelling moments that can't be beat. The $200 clue in the Math Class category is: in this classic Sondheim musical, you'll hear Peter say, "Add 'em up, Bobby, add 'em up." What is Company? The line comes during the musical's finale, Being Alive.
It's all much better living it than looking at it, Robert. Add 'em up, Bobby. Add 'em up.
The moment is just one of hundreds of hilarious musical theater Easter eggs in Schmigadoon. This one, though, occurring during the show's second season finale.
Add 'em up, kiddos. Add 'em up.
Let's learn some French in the foreign language category with a $200 clue. This Rodgers and Hammerstein musical opens with two young children singing the sweet song Dites-moi in French. What is South Pacific? The little French ditty is sung by Emile's two kids, and the full translated lyrics are: tell me why the sky is filled with music, tell me why we fly on clouds above. Can it be that we can fly just because we're in love?
Dites-moi pourquoi la vie est belle. Dites-moi pourquoi la vie est gaie.
In Finishing up the overture round in the alma maters category, your last $200 clue is Shiz University. What is Wicked? Gregory Maguire, the author of the original novel the musical is based on, stated that the name Shiz is somewhat a play on Chicago, a city that was extremely important to Oz creator Frank Baum when writing The Wizard of Oz. I hope you all aced that first round. Let's move on to the only slightly harder $400 round now. Circling back to School Days, your first $400 clue is the musical Bayside, the musical, is a parody of this iconic 90s young teen sitcom. What is Saved by the Bell? Bayside the musical opened off-Broadway in fall of 2013. During the run of the parody musical, a few of the sitcom's original cast members joined Bayside, including Dustin Diamond, who played Screech on the original series, and Dennis Haskins, who played Mr. Belding. The $400 clue in the At the Dance category is things go horrifically wrong during the prom in the musical adaptation of Carrie when this is poured on the title character. What is Pig's Blood? Though if you just said blood, that is acceptable. The saga of the Pig's Blood in Carrie is a crazy one. Imagine its opening night, the big climax of the show comes, the iconic moment of Carrie getting drenched before laying waste to the school, and all you get is a plastic bucket crammed on Carrie's head and a slight cherry syrup looking smear on her cheeks when she takes it off. Disappointment personified. The issue was, when the musical's creative teams really tried to go for it with the blood as expected, Lindsay Hatley, the original Carrie's mic, would short out from the ooze no matter where they placed the mic. What's more, not only was the entire cast dressed in all white for that scene, but the set was bright white as well. Reportedly, no matter how much washing happened, the actors' costumes were all slowly turning pink. The director was also apparently trying to move away from the gore type of horror and focus more on the psychological aspect. All this led to the much maligned non-blood bucket drop. On closing night though, that all changed. The cast, who were always very embarrassed by that moment in the show, convinced the techs to really go for it with the blood for the final performance, and they did. Carrie got drenched, the cast was soaked and splattered, the set was flooded, and the show went out in all its bloody glory. Add another 400 if you get the next clue in the math class category, which is in this musical, Katie Heron finds that the limit does not exist when in a mathletes competition. What is Mean Girls? Apparently in the original Mean Girls film, the equation they use in this scene makes mathematical sense. But for the film adaptation of the musical, the equation does not. I guess they figured most people watching wouldn't be able to tell, but I mean, I certainly did. It's clearly an equation that has a different result, obviously. Donde está your next $400 clue in the foreign language category? Está aquí. Es several Spanish phrases like ciencia y fe, inútil, and no me diga are found in this 2008 musical. What is In the Heights? There is lots of spoken and sung Spanish in the show, but writer Lin-Manuel Miranda did a great job, I think, of using the authentic voice of the characters while never losing the audience. Miranda has said that he used the show's director, Thomas Kail, who spoke no Spanish, as a sort of barometer to make sure the storytelling wasn't getting lost despite the language differences. And the final $400 clue in the alma maters category is Cruncham Hall. What is Matilda? The school song in Matilda is one of my favorites in the show. It's so incredibly clever how Tim Minchin, the composer and lyricist of the musical, works in each letter of the alphabet. And in the original staging of the number, when they're sticking the blocks through the gates, just so incredibly cool. Graduating right to the $600 round now. Back again with School Days, your first $600 clue is a daily double. Heyo! Remember, answer part 1, you get the 600, answer the slightly harder part 2, and you double your money. Alrighty, your doubled up clue in the school days category is: in the book report from You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, this is the book the kids are singing about. For double points, this is the book that Schroeder would rather be discussing. What is Peter Rabbit is the right response for part 1, and what is Robin Hood is the answer for part 2. The book report is one of my favorite songs on that Revival cast recording, although, I mean, that's a complete no-skip album if we're being honest. You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown is one of the few musicals to get an animated film adaptation, though this one based on the Peanuts characters makes a lot more sense than, you know, other animated film adaptations. Cutting a rug in the At the Dance category gives us the $600 clue. In Greece, the teens are born to do this fast-paced dance at the sock hop. What is the hand jive is the right answer. The hand jive was a real dance craze in the 1950s, being referenced in several songs of the time. As a kid, not knowing any better, I had just always assumed that the hand jive came from Greece, but that is not the case. Your next $600 clue in the math class category is: Margaret Johnson sings the song Dividing Day in this gorgeous 2005 musical. What is the light in the piazza? In the musical, Margaret, originated by Victoria Clark, who would win the Tony for the role, calls her husband to inform him of their daughter's new love interest, but he brushes her off. In a heartbreaking song, Margaret reflects on love and how it can fade away.
No more love, no more love allowed. When was dividing day? Was it on the church step? Did it happen right away? Were you lying next to me, hiding what you couldn't say?
Back in the foreign language category, the $600 clue there is: in this Morieston musical, a young Guido is told to never tell a woman I love you, but instead say ti voglio bene. What is 9? Ti voglio bene is sung by the character of Serafina, a prostitute who advises a curious 9-year-old Guido and his buddies about love. That song leads right into Be Italian, another favorite of mine, for obvious reasons. Let's visit another alma mater with the $600 clue. Horace Green Prep School. What is School of Rock? Horace Green Prep was inspired by the real-life exclusive private prep school, the Horace Mann School, located here in New York in the Bronx. It's time to increase the difficulty level some more with the $800 round now, but before we do, if you're enjoying this week's game, please, oh pretty please, do me the honor of hitting that like button for me. It really helps with that nutty YouTube algorithm and getting these videos shown to more fine folks like yourselves, but also makes me feel like I've just graduated from Broadway History U.
Is that a real place? Are they hiring?
Thanks everyone, I truly do appreciate it. All right, let's get back to class. Kicking off the $800 round with another look at some school days with the $800 clue. This is the contestant in the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee who uses the special magic foot technique. Who is William Barfy?
It's pronounced Barfay. There's an accent aigu.
Right, sorry. Who is William Barfay? Dan Fogler originated the role of William Barfay in the show's conception and original Broadway run, earning him the Tony for Best Featured Actor. Other great performers who took on the role during the show's run were Jared Gertner and Josh Gad, who made his Broadway debut with the show. The 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee is coming back to New York with an off-Broadway revival this fall, and playing the role of William in that production will be Kevin McHale, known for starring in Glee. The $800 clue over in the At the Dance category is: well-intentioned but out-of-touch Broadway folk cause a huge ruckus in a small town while fighting for LGBTQ rights in this musical. What is The Prom? The Prom has a score by Matt Sklar and Chad Begulin, and a book by Begulin and Bob Martin. The very funny musical opened at the Long Acre Theater in 2018, starring Beth Level, Brooks Ashmanskas, Chris Sieber, Angie Schroer, and Caitlin Kinnunen. As the clue stated, the musical is about a small group of frustrated Broadway actors who, to do some real good in the world and drum up some publicity, they travel down to the very conservative town of Edgewater, Indiana to help a lesbian student who was banned from bringing her girlfriend to the high school prom. The musical is actually based on a true story, minus the intruding Broadway celebs. Let's go way back in time with the math class category and the $800 clue. The musical number I Can't Do the Sum is from this 1903 musical with several film adaptations. What is Babes in Toyland? Yes, the holiday favorite is well over 120 years old. There have been 4 film versions of the operetta by Victor Herbert, each taking many liberties with the original material. The first came in 1934, starring Laurel and Hardy. The second, more widely known version came in 1961 from Disney, starring Ray Bolger, Annette Funicello, and Ed Wynn. And another in 1986 was a made-for-TV movie starring Drew Barrymore and Keanu Reeves. The last one was an animated movie version from 1997 with the voice talents of Christopher Plummer, Charles Nelson Riley, and Lacey Chabert. Our next foreign language class comes now with the $800 clue. In The Producers, Franz Liebken gets cast in his own show when he sings this German-titled song during auditions. What is Haben Sie gehört, das deutsche Band? The hilarious Mel Brooks number comes when Max and Leo are auditioning actors for the title role of their new musical, and when one hopeful begins singing the German classic, Franz, the author of the show, is disgusted with his performance and does it himself, and gets himself cast in the role.
Russian folk songs so fresh, ooh la la. Can't compare with a German. Oh, Papa, wir sehen, haben Sie gehört, das deutsche Band. Mit der Set, mit der Sap, mit der Sing.
And finishing up the round with the Alma Maters category, the $800 clue there is Truman High School and Jackson High School. What is Bring It On? While the musical takes elements of the original big screen film Bring It On, it's definitely not a direct adaptation. The original film has 6 direct-to-video sequels, all with super loose continuity, and none of the original characters from that original film, so the musical Bring It On kind of fits into that universe somehow. I've actually never seen any of those sequels, so if you have and any of them bears a little more resemblance to the stage show, please let me know. I've always been interested in that. And now we've reached that point, my friends. The big show, the main event. It's the $1,000 round. Here's that dramatic music. Best of luck, players. Back one last time with the School Days category. Your first $1,000 clue is... This musical review, with a score by Craig Carnelia, has the songs I'm Glad You Didn't Know Me, Diary of a Homecoming Queen, and The Kid Inside. What is There Life After High School? The great song cycle opened on Broadway at the Ethel Barrymore Theater in 1982, starring Harry Groener, David Patrick Kelly, seen recently in the revivals of Once Upon a Mattress and Into the Woods, and Sandy Faison, the original Grace Farrell, in Annie. Despite its strong score, Is There Life After High School ran only 48 previews and 12 official performances. The $1,000 clue in the At the Dance category is... Not even death will stop Johnny from being with his love, Toffee, at the big school dance in this 1996 off-Broadway musical. What is Zombie Prom? Zombie Prom is one of those shows that you either have never heard of or you did the show at some point. The musical was first produced in Florida in 1993 before opening off-Broadway at the Variety Arts Theater in 1996. The offbeat musical was written by John Dempsey and Dana P. Rowe, the same team behind the British musicals The Fix and Witches of Eastwick. Zombie Prom takes place at a high school located right next to a nuclear power plant. When Toffee is forbidden from dating Johnny anymore, he throws himself into the nuclear reactor. Toffee is devastated until weeks later when a visibly deteriorating Johnny returns from the dead. Concluding the math class category brings us the $1,000 clue. Daisy, Buddy, and Violet sing 1 + 1 = 3 in this short-lived musical. What is Sideshow? The musical is based on the real-life Hilton sisters, a pair of conjoined twins who became minor celebrities in the 1930s. The song 1 + 1 = 3 is an upbeat diegetic number where Violet and Daisy, along with Violet's fiance Buddy, perform a number as a sort of invitation to their wedding. After the song, however, we see everyone's true feelings about the upcoming nuptials. Saying sayonara to the foreign language category with the $1,000 clue. This musical uses the Japanese phrases gaman and ishikara ishi to encourage strength and endurance during immense hardships. What is Allegiance? The musical, written by Jay Kuo and Mark Aceto, starred Telly Leung, Lea Salonga, and George Takei, whose real-life history of being sent to a Japanese internment camp inspired the show itself. Thankfully, the great musical was preserved in a pro shot which can be viewed on Broadway HD.
Ishi kara ishi.
Mountain can be moved, stone by stone. Ishi kara ishi, yama wa idou dekiru.
And the curtain call clue in the Alma Maters category for $1,000 is St. Cecilia's Boarding School. What is Bear, a pop opera? Bear is a cult favorite musical for sure. It started in Los Angeles in 2000 before opening off-Broadway in 2004, starring Michael Arden, Jenna Leigh Green, and Natalie Joy Johnson. The musical got a major rewrite in 2012, changing from a pop opera to more of a traditional book musical. And so while they're based on the same story of teens dealing with life within Catholic high school, Bear the pop opera and Bear the musical are two different animals. And now we've reached the final Jeopardy round, everyone. Time to tally up those scores and decide how much you want to wager in the category Lessons Learned. Here we're looking at some lessons learned by various characters in shows. Okay, has everyone made their wagers? Gregory? Amy? Zane? Okay, here is your final clue. In this musical, the women of the world learn, to their horror, that they've been putting things like parabens, petroleum, dyes, and even borax on their skin with their makeup. What is War Paint? The musical explores the real-life triumphs and rivalry between two of the pioneers in women's makeup and skincare. Their infighting ultimately led to the government requiring by law the putting of every ingredient in their products on the label, which caused an uproar from consumers after learning just what they've been putting on their faces for all that time. And that's this week's game! Were you too cool for school, or do you need some private tutoring? Be sure to let me know in the comments. I love hearing from you guys and seeing how you did. I want to thank you all one more time for allowing me this travel time and these short games. I saw by all your comments that, I know you guys appreciated having something rather than nothing. I definitely have it noted that the short games are not ideal. So duly noted, and we'll just keep on business as usual. As always, all the love in the world to each and every one of my patrons over on Patreon. I would sit with all of you at the lunch tables. If you want to be as cool as these guys over here, check out my Patreon using the link in the video description. You can find me outside of the YouTube verse over on Instagram and Blue Sky, or you can email me directly. I'll be back next week with episode 66. But until then, I'm Mark Bonanni. This is Broadway by Ghostlight. Thanks for playing.